You're now listening to the Key Witness Media Podcast with Kurt Maggs. Kurt Maggs Radio.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Kurt Maggs Radio Show. What's popping? We're here in the building. Man, I'm going to bring you a quick episode right quick. First, I would like to address the bad intentions episode that I just did recently. There's some things that are going on behind the scenes. And it's a friend of mine who's a community activist, and she's been going at it for quite a while, some years, probably about 10 years, and she came from the bottom. She had her own issues as far as drugs, and played her role in some crimes, and she was able to turn her life around and use it to help others and prevent them from making the same mistakes that she did. That's my good friend, Sister Meechie. Salute. And she has been getting attacked from all areas. And some people that she thought was her friend end up turning on her. And, I like to make light of situations. And it's getting to the point, it's getting so bad. And now she's doing very well for herself. Started from the bottom, and now she's reached that point where she can buy some nice things, live in a home, live comfortably, buy, say, some of the designer things, the purchase of the Mercedes-Benz, things that some people have always wanted to buy. And these were things that she always dreamed of, and she built her own small business empire. So salute to Meechie. Nothing but support from me. I've seen you grind out here in the community. She has given things to people who, to me, didn't deserve it. She's helped on every level, from financially. And I'm not talking about $200 or $300. She's paid people's bills. When people were having a hard time, she gave them the help that they needed. And she went above and beyond. She would not only just pay for their month's rent, she would give them 3 months' rent to help them be able to get themselves back on their feet. And she's being attacked from so many people who were supporters. And I felt that I needed to say something to help her and her cause, and know that she's getting support from me. And I'm greatly disappointed in the black community when some of us end up doing well. We think that they're scamming in as many small business owners that she helped, from mom and pop restaurants and beauty salons and things like that. It's gotten so bad now to the point where she said her hairdresser, who would charge her $150 a month or so to do her hair, is now wants to charge her $950. Come on, y'all. And she's telling me this, and I'm thinking that she's kidding. She's like, I supported her. I always make sure that when people ask who's doing my hair, I give her name and where to go to find her, even if they're not from the area. If they're in the area, visiting or whatever, go by there and get their hair done and taken care of by her. And this girl has decided to, Meechie, you doing good right now. I'm gonna try to tap into some of your money. You doing real good. You got all of designers and bags. You're doing that house you got. It's got to be almost $300,000 or $400,000, not $500,000. Never been in the house. Said, I heard you got a jacuzzi in your bedroom and this and that and this and that. And Meechie's a business owner her own self, and she has multiple of businesses and income coming in. So she's able to do all of this, but for some reason in the black community, they think it's a scam. And like I mentioned in the last episode, some of these people that everybody think that is okay, and me and Meechie and a few others know that they're not who they're pretending to be, and they're the actual ones that are scamming, getting all of these cash apps and donations and living in a lap of, I ain't going to say luxury, but they're not putting the money towards what they say they're putting it toward. They're using it to buy latest cell phones and gadgets and this and that, and it's not going towards benefiting the community like you said. Now, I always try to make light of situations, and I always use my own self. And like I said, I use the situation that people asking for a reprieve. And in that case, if Meechie, along with others, because I'm going to stay out of it, I'm going to stay clear out of it. I don't want my name brought up. I'm just defending my sister Meechie in this situation. And she's done too much, and if I wasn't known it for my own self or seen it with my own eyes, I would have never put myself in there or interjected into the problem. But there's a community of us in our own area, and we all support and listen and pass along ideas amongst each other in order to do what we can to reach the youth and other people that are like-minded like us, or if they're not like-minded, at least get a message out there, and then they can do whatever they want with it. Freedom of choice. And Meechie's done all the work. I can't say anything bad about it, but like I said, she's doing well now, and now everybody's tripping and got a problem with it, then thinking that she's mishandling funds and this and that and this and that. And she's a very open book, and she says what she does, and when she does something, she does it. I mean, she's done a lot of free things, free events for people, when other people are charging on her leg $75, $100, $200 for an event, and she's doing it for free. And some people thought she was crazy for doing it for free, and it seemed like as though the more harder you go for, and I'm just talking about us, the black community, the more and more people get mad about it. It'd be like the Ice Cube situation. Ice Cube comes up with a plan, and he says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take it to whoever want to listen to it. And man, people got mad. What are you getting mad? Presented it to somebody who would listen. But we're going to leave that alone and leave that for another podcast. But, man, I wanted to... quite a few years ago, and this is to everybody who knows about this, I had a bone white Pontiac Bonneville. Now, I added the bone white. I don't think there's a such thing as a bone white, but boy, it was clean. It was super clean leather. But if we're talking probably the late 90s or maybe 2000. And I'm going to go ahead and get into the story. I'm going to try to be done within the next 5 minutes with this. One day I was driving it, and me and my wife and daughter were going to Walmart. And we're going on this side road to get to Walmart, not in the main traffic. And as we're leaving the Walmart parking lot, I got my foot on the gas, and I noticed that the car is barely moving. And I'm talking about, I got my foot halfway down and we're going about 10. So I decided to take it to to go get it fixed. And the warranty on it was expired. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to find this mechanic that I dealt with, mechanic shop that I dealt with quite a few times in the past and have them work on it. And it was called Fuel Injection Clinic. And some of you all may remember it. It used to be on Broadway in Maryville, Indiana. I think that I'm going to say 58th, 59th and Broadway. So I take this car up there, have it towed, and had the mechanic look at it. And I'm familiar with them. I bought a few cars in the past, and they worked on all kind of things. It wasn't just primarily fuel injection, but they were pretty good at that fuel injection. That's why they called it the clinic. But it was a fuel injection clinic. And I took the car up there, and he took a look at it, told me give him a couple of days and he'll give me a estimate on what it costs in order to fix it. So a couple of days pass, he calls me and lets me know that he said, hey, we're looking at probably $1,200, $1,600, somewhere in between there. He said it could cost as much as $2,000, but since you are a repeat customer in the past, he goes, I'm going to probably try to keep it around $1,300, $1,400. So I'm like, okay. I said, well, once you get it ready and get it going, just let me know, contact me, and come and pick it up. So I gave him the authorization to go ahead and fix it. So he fixed the car, gives me a call, and at that time, there was like really no cell phone. I didn't really have a cell phone like that I kept it in. It was kind of expensive to have. I think at that time it was like, what was that, Prime Code and all those little crazy places charging me. The guy was, that I know, I remember him paying like 75 cents a minute for a cell phone. So that's to tell you how long ago that was. But he calls and left a voicemail saying that the car was ready on the house phone. So I get to it was a couple of days before I got back with him and let him know that I would be there to pick up that car that Friday. So I called him and nobody answered, but I left a message, told him what my intentions were. So told him to get back with me as soon as possible, that I could make arrangements for the payment. And he said, okay, when he got back to me. So I was like, okay. I said, if I don't make it Friday, I'll be there sometime during next week, middle of the week, or probably the next Friday. Because the way my schedule I was working a lot of shift. I was working shift work, but I was working 12 and 16s. So I didn't know what my schedule was going to be. You know, you get to work, and if your buddy didn't show up, you had to work there 8 hours. So that's how the schedule was ran. So I didn't make it in that Friday, so I decided to come in on a Wednesday. And I'll never forget it. So I'm thinking that I'm going to go pick up my car. And I talked to the guy, and he goes, well, the owner, chief mechanic, is not here, and I don't see the keys to the car. So he's like, could you come back Friday? He'll be here. He said, and then we'll try to, get you going. So it's like, okay, positive conversation. So a couple of days pass, of course, and Friday gets along. And I said, hey, call up there and find out, because I'm not going to go up there and then nobody's there, or he's not there, and they tell me they can't find my keys. I was kind of a little bit annoyed by that anyway. Why would you not have my keys there? So I called that Friday morning, and I said, hey, I'll be there today in a couple of hours to come pick up the car. I have someone I'm bringing with me so we can take the car along. I said, I would like to get that done today. I have the money. We're going to go ahead and pay for it and leave. So he said, okay. He said, let me see if I can find the owner. So I was like, okay. So about 10 minutes passed. Sitting there waiting on the phone. I'm like, okay, what is taking so long? I figured he's probably under a hood, under another car, or probably finishing and buttoning up, wiping his hands, getting the oil and grease off his hands. So the guy comes back to the phone that was working there. He goes, hey, I'm going to tell you something. He's put a mechanic's lien on your car. I said, what? He said, he's put a mechanic's lien on your car. I said, you got to be kidding me. I was like, what do you mean, a mechanic's lien? Well, I guess when you didn't come and pick it up that Friday, which you did, he said, we were here. He put a mechanic's lien on it like you didn't pay for it, and then it's been sitting here. So I'm like, does he know that car isn't paid for? I make monthly payments on it. So he says, I don't know. He goes, but he's put a mechanic's lien on it, and he's technically actually the owner of that car now. I am mad. If I could tell you what was going through my mind, I'd probably be locked up and put in prison. So I said, this got to be a big misunderstanding. I said, I don't think this guy did that. I think it must be a misunderstanding. It must be somebody else's car. So I said, well, I need to get him on the phone. This guy gets on the phone and he goes, hey, you didn't show up, so I'm thinking that you abandoned the car. I was like, are you serious? So, of course, I called my lawyer. So the lawyer tells me, first he said he couldn't believe it, and he was well aware of the mechanic shop. He goes, I've drove past that place many a times. He goes, I've never did business with them, but he goes, but it's always cars sitting out there, and they've been there a long time and well established. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, this guy put a mechanic's lien on the car, and now they're saying that they're the owner of the car. So my lawyer advised me. He said, well, contact the Maryville Police Department and get a detective to investigate it. So I do exactly what he tells me. The detective department called me like 2 weeks later. He goes, yep, he put that mechanic's lien on your car. So I show him the bill and everything and how everything works. And the detective said, well, we believe you. He goes, we've heard about him doing things like that before. I said, yeah, but does he know that I'm making payments and I'm not even the owner of the car? I don't have the title. So he says, most likely he's not fully aware of that, and he probably won't figure it out till later. So they said, well, he did something very illegal, and you have a right to do what you need to do civilly to bring up charges or whatever you want against him to either get the car back or do whatever. And at that point, I was already looking at getting a new car. I said, well, since he wanted that bad, he can have it. You can have the car and you can take along the payments with you. It was about $300. And I think I still had maybe a year and a half left on it. So I contacted the finance company and let them know that someone put a mechanic's lien on the car. They decided to take over the payments, and I'm not going to be taking care of that. But here's his name, number, here's the address to the place, here's the car, and I'm not going to keep fighting with this guy and pay a lawyer and go to court back and forth with that. I go, so you can talk to him and you let me know what he wants to do. If he takes the lien off the car, I'll go ahead and do what I'm supposed to do and keep the car. That's like, I'm going to eventually trade the car in. So me and person from the finance company go back and forth for a while, and they're shaking their heads also. They can't believe what's going on. So I said, well, I'm going to let him assume the payment since he did that. So I never did hear anything more about it. And like I said, I went on and moved on and bought, I think at that point, another car. I can't remember which car it was. I know it was a Chrysler. And I never heard anything from anybody else, from him, the detective, the finance company. So you're under the assumptions that it's all taken care of. But I know one thing. I didn't have the car, and I wasn't driving it. So maybe you bought that one. So we just left it at that. And I'm going to go ahead and tie this up. I learned a valuable lesson when it comes down to doing business with people. Everybody is not on the up and up. And there's always somebody trying to get over. Now, of course, that this guy, he ended up dying. And the garage closed, out of business. So whatever agreement that him and the finance company had, I guess they've looked at it as being all null and void. So now, who do they want to pay for it? Of course, me. You gotta be kidding me. 4 or 5 years later, and you call me and telling me that, hey, you may have to assume this debt. And at that point, I talked to my lawyer again. He goes, well, since he has the mechanic lien, he's the owner. And I left it at that. Always make sure when you're doing business, first you need to make sure what you're reading and what you're writing. Read your contracts. When you put your signature on it, stay free and clear for anything that could have happened like that in that situation. Now, everyone who knows about that situation as far as that car, the act that was permitted was illegal. But somehow, some way, that finance company still wants to be paid for something I don't even have. He's dead, so he don't have to hear about it. And I made up in my mind that I wasn't going to worry about it. But we all learned a valuable lesson, and I was able to pass this along to a bunch of people and warn people when they take things to mechanic shops, and make sure that they're on the up and up and they're doing things in good faith. Last but not least, if there's a fuel injection clinic in your area, don't do business with them. Because that guy might still be alive somewhere. So whoever you are and wherever you're at, stay away from it. Peace and God bless.